Okay, I got one. What if, what if you could have sex with whoever you wanted, um, for $1 million, but you would go down in history as the world's biggest prostitute, like ever. You'd be in the history books as the biggest prostitute ever, like Guinness World Records, world's biggest whore. Would you do it?
Of course I would. I would be. Who cares? Who cares if I'm the world's biggest whore?
Everybody always says yes to that question. They look at me like I'm crazy, but I mean, you'd be the biggest whore forever.
Who cares if I'm the world's biggest whore? I just got laid by the woman of my dreams and I'm rich. Who cares?
Your name would become synonymous with prostitution. Your name would become like a slang word for whore. And you're okay with that. You're okay with your legacy after death. You're the way that an entire, not even just the nation probably, the entire world will remember you as a big whore. You're okay with that.
Okay. But every time I'm brought up, like in conversation, it'll always end with somebody saying, yeah, I do it, and a bunch of other people agreeing with him, and realizing that outside of me being the world's biggest whore, I was on Easy Street for the rest of my life, it's the easiest decision to make in the world. I think I have one. Would you rather burn to death or freeze to death?
Oh, I'd burn to death. It'd be really quick. I'm sure it'd be like a minute, maybe a little bit over. I would definitely burn to death. I mean, freezing takes a really, really long time. It takes it like a few days.
No, I would definitely freeze. I would definitely freeze to death. Burning to death is incredibly violent. It's incredibly painful. I know it. I like freezing to death. You'd eventually be at peace with it, I think.
You have to sit there and think about it. Like, I'm sure burning to death is really overwhelming, but just sitting there thinking about the fact that you are going to freeze to death, and that there's nothing you can do about it, and just severe cold pain. It's unbearable. Are you kidding me? Of course I'd burn to death. It'd be over like that.
Well, I know that. I know it's long and it's painful, but hypothermia is what I'm ultimately dying of, right? In the last stage of hypothermia, there's euphoria. So I have this long and terrible few days of pain, but it caps off with this crazy euphoria. I would rather die in euphoria after severe pain, as opposed to just dying in howling, screaming pain, feeling, my flesh melt off me. That's terrible. That's ew. That's disgusting. Ew. Could you imagine looking at that? Could you imagine looking at your skin starting to bubble? That's I can't believe that.
If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Telepathy. I want telepathy.
Well, there's a lot of room for abuse with a power like that, don't you think?
I wouldn't try to rule the world or anything. I think I would use it sparingly. Thank you very much.
I think you'd be carried away within weeks, within days maybe.
Well, think about it. I'd always know the right thing to say. I would constantly have the upper hand.
I pick flight. It's simple, but I would never, ever get tired of it. I would never get tired of flight. And decently fast flight too. Not, Superman fast. Not fly so fast that you can make the earth spin backwards, but I'd like to, be able to make it around the world in 19 minutes or something like that. And that's a top speed. But flight, are you kidding me? It'd be amazing.
Well, okay. one of your siblings or one of your parents or like your best friend or your wife or something like that, somebody who's really, really close to you, you love very much, is in the worst pain of their life. And it's probably 75% that they will be in this pain for as long as they're living. Do you like, would you pull a Dr. Kevorkian? Would you let them die?
No, 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 absolutely not. Absolutely, it's terrible. Absolutely not. No, it's just not my. It's not my place.
Oh, that's sadistic. That's sadistic. If you're willing to let somebody that you love go through that much pain.
I know. I understand. But it's not my place to decide something like that. I can't. You know, I had nothing to do with this person existing in the first place, and I don't want anything to do with this person not existing. I just couldn't live with myself.
See, I wouldn't be able to live with myself letting that go on and knowing that I could do something about it and not doing anything.
Hey, call it morals, call it whatever you want. I'd still feel like I was killing somebody, and I can't do that. I'm sorry.
I'm not saying I have trouble seeing where you're coming from. I think that you're having trouble thinking about it from the other person's perspective, to the perspective of the person who's in pain.
Two me's talking to each other. Get it? It's kind of masturbatory.